Good evening, racing fans, and welcome to Speed Gaming. We're hosting the Link to the Past Randomizer daily race today, and today we're playing Crosskeys. We're featuring wall kicks and incoherent today on the restream, and joining me in the commentary booth is Radical Sniper 99. Sniper, how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is truly one of the great modes of Rando. If you haven't played it before, it can be a little daunting, but truly a fun one to get into.
It can be daunting, but it pretty much takes the spirit of Randomizer to its core. We've got every item is randomized, including the dungeon items like keys, maps, and compasses. And the entrances have been randomized.
Yeah, this one definitely will give you everything, and you know, it's a test of your sanity. It's a test of your ability to kind of keep track of things. Everybody who plays Rando, you're used to the idea of tracking just some items, maybe some keys. This mode is really about how well do you take notes.
This is true. And we got a piece of heart in Link's house today. And this is a common start that we see for Crosskeys. We're getting a fake flipper over to the witch's hut.
Yeah, this is a great way. You'll see a lot of runners try to route this in, maybe get maybe a Houlihan, but in this case, yeah, we're gonna see Witch's Hut. Sometimes Witch's Hut can be one of those areas that's really hard to route in nicely as an entrance. So, and in this case, it looks like it's gonna pay off, at least from being a location worth something.
It gives you the item from Spectacle Rock Cave.
So, yeah, one of the big things about this mode, you know, what we've found here is the first of many connectors. So if you haven't played a lot of Crosskeys, what you're going to find is that, hey, I go into a cave and I see this connector. And for all you know, you need to drop down there in Spectacle Rock and go out the Moldorm side of that exit to actually find somewhere else that you need to be. Like, that could be your route onto Death Mountain for all you know. So there's a lot of routing issues to this mode, and, you know, trying to figure out what is the best way or how do I get around this.
And it looks like Ganon has taken up residence at the Eastern Ferry. So this is what I like to call you hope you don't mess up the Houlihan.
Yeah, definitely one of the common jokes you'll hear a lot of people talk about is, oh, did you accidentally drop in on Ganon already? Because I think everybody who's ever tried Crosskeys has inadvertently dropped in and said hello to Ganon a little early.
Now, finding that early Ganon does relieve a little bit of pressure on your mind, because a lot of the time you will see runners check the door of drop-downs before they drop down, just because they don't want to fall on the pig. And we got 8 bombs on the triple.
That's a great find. You never know where you're going to have to, you know, if you're going to find bombs easily. Sometimes you kind of luck into a location that has them. But to have the tier 1 be a bomb drop is great. We also saw the Uncle drop down is our Cackwell.
That's a big find.
Yeah. So one of the things about this mode is, you know, drop downs are linked together. So as we saw, the Uncle stairs there is the well, so we know that the Uncle drop will be the well drop. Which also means that one drop down is locked at behind our GT climb.
And if I know runners very well, they would like to see the ferry drop down in the pyramid.
Yes, that is definitely the most preferred drop down to have there. We did get the powder out of Cackwell, so that'll be great, you know, depending on where we find Magic Bat. Incoherent also finds a mirror.
To answer a question, chat, about why start with the witch's hut, it's a combination of the easy Houlihan, and it also lets you check a very easy to isolate check, being the witch's hut. Now, early mirrors are extremely useful in this mode, because the reason we call it Crosskeys is because we use the crossed entrance setting for the entrance randomizer, which means that our connectors can connect from the light world to the dark world. Connectors being a house or cave like this one that you can enter from one area and then leave out a different door. And this one puts you at Bumper Ledge.
And that is a huge drop or cross entrance there. That Bumper Ledge, the only way you get the light world version of that is with the mirror. So the fact that Walkix has found it without the mirror, hopefully that becomes a location to check. A lot of early runners in this mode kind of miss that piece of the puzzle, and that's one of the hard things to start off learning.
The good news about that is the mirror is early, and the access isn't too hard to get to, only being over at Flute Spot 5, down below Eastern. And we have the Uncle drop down in the forest.
Yeah, we also saw the Lumberjack drop down was our fairy fountain. So that is nice information that at least Agate Tower is not required for the drop down.
And it looks to me like Walkix is just dying in Skullwoods. Oh look, he's not a bunny.
Yeah, bunny revivals are technically not a logical piece of Crosskeys, but a lot of runners will use this as an opportunity to check locations or dungeons that they find in Dark World.
And Incoherent found the left entrance of Turtle Rock in the Fortune Teller.
Now, while we say that revival is not in logic, sometimes bunny walking is. Sometimes you are definitely very required to go around the world in a bunny to find a connector to bring you where you need to go.
I believe I just saw a very valuable connector on Incoherent's screen.
Yes, that is the top of Paradox Cave. So we know there's 7 items down there, and those are all in logic for Incoherent right now. And Walkix, even without anything.
Magic Bat, unfortunately, is nothing today. Walkix being extremely careful with these Ropas and the Ropas that are in Skullwoods, because they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, has to be a little bit careful here, but I'm going to be able to knock out all these item checks in the easy or relatively simple portion of Skullwoods, which you might notice is, hey, this is Crosskeys, why is Skullwoods still at Skullwoods?
I think people like them more on GT.
Yeah, that's definitely a greater find. That's a more important one.
I apologize.
No,
Skullwoods.
not at all. GT, out of all entrances in a Crosskeys, is probably one of the best and scariest entrances in the game, just because of the fact that there are 27 items and a Moon Pearl!
What is that doing there? So, all that stuff that we said is out of logic over on Walkix's side, yeah, it just went in logic. Overall.
So this is a hype start to a Crosskeys. I've definitely seen some Crosskeys seeds where you don't find a pearl for an hour, or worse. And that is one very kind pearl.
We are under 10 minutes, and we have the two most useful items in Crosskeys.
Yeah, if you talk to a lot of Crosskeys runners, they'll tell you some of the most important kit in terms of getting around this mode. A lot of that is usually, at least in my personal opinion, Pearl, Mirror, and a glove.
Give me a hook shot for Death Mountain, and we'll have the top 4 there.
So these are all very important items. You have to always think about those liftable rocks, and how important a glove becomes for those entrances. Mirror is a great way to access some of the entrances that are out of the you can only access that way. Death Mountain, notorious for that. Of course, we saw Bumper Ledge earlier.
Did we see the desert entrance from Incoherent?
Yes, we did see a desert entrance. I don't believe Incoherent actually looked through most of it, though.
We also had another Paradox Cave entrance in Kakariko Village, unfortunately. So, while it is great for 7 items, it is limited on its connector potential.
And sometimes that's a good thing, to be honest. Sometimes you definitely appreciate finding that kind of stuff, and at other times, hey, I found desert, I found paradox, I found spec rock. This just becomes this ever-expanding net or cob or spider web.
A lot of the challenge of this mode is routing efficiently through the mess. That's another... Desert spits you out on Dark Death Mountain. So we can go from the Lost Woods to the bottom of Dark Death Mountain. And Wallkicks might be going for... Yep, Wallkicks is going to Mire here to pick up these entrances.
Yep, important. This could be our one way onto the mountain. And hey, there's Mire Shed. But yeah, part of what we're seeing here between Wallkicks and Incoherent, they're kind of highlighting two very different operating principles for this mode. Wallkicks is following a lot of the connectors, whereas Incoherent is saying, let me check the entrances and then I'll come back.
Part of Wallkicks on this specific one is his connector to get up here is not in the best of locations either. That is an Agatower key. The only one these runners want to see now.
Yeah, realistically, we don't need both of them. Hopefully. But yeah, we know that that Lumberjack is not required, so good chance that we don't really need the second one at all anyway.
Bomb strats for the mini Moldworms in here. The Tower of Hera small key and the red cane. Incoherent's probably excited to see that cane right now.
Yeah, that's great to have a true weapon at this point. And between that and that Tower of Hera small and that Castle Tower small, not a bad mini Moldworm cave.
And it spits you out right near Village of Outcasts.
And Incoherent's going to make that same play up towards Skull Woods, get those items. I think the only major piece we got out of there was actually our blue mail.
I mean, I won't complain about blue mail.
Not at all. With how open this seed is with the Moon Pearl that early, you will definitely appreciate having that ability or having that extra defense.
But with the Mire and the Pearl, we do have access to some extremely useful checks later. Because on Wallkicks, we saw him in the castle, and you might remember, there are 3 entrances up there. How do you get up there normally, Sniper?
I tend to go through Castle Tower, but I know there's another way. I think it involves that mirror, though.
It does. We'll be able, once we get access to the pyramid, we'll be able to get up there. And the mirror just gets you access to so many critical checks, with another notable one that we've checked half of being that race game.
Yeah, the left side race game, very unlikely you'll actually find a connector to that. But you will, if you mirror on the just outside of digging game, roughly, you can actually get to that entrance and also get to race game. So the one thing you want to keep in mind with this mode, this is a very, from a viewer perspective, I think sometimes this mode can be a little overwhelming at times, but one of the things you always want to keep in mind is you can't really ever tell who's got a lead early in this kind of mode. It might look like Incoherence made some more checks, found some better items, but really, as long as you're making checks and going into dungeons or like going into new stuff, you are actually continuing to make progress, and you're not really falling behind at all.
This is true. Simply eliminating possibilities for where things can be is important in this mode.
Yeah, and you can talk to a lot of runners who run this mode quite a bit, and one of the first things they'll tell you is, hey, you want to take good notes. You need to understand your entrances. If you walk into a cave and you see it, the quicker you can recognize what that is without having to walk in further, the better off you are.
And Wallkicks has found GT and will be getting his Moon Pearl from here.
Wallkicks will also get that information about what's on the GT torch. Obviously, can't do anything really in GT at this point.
No, we can't. We need either a hammer or a cane to get past that first few checks. And
well, speaking of that cane, Incoherent could actually do Tile Room.
there is Castle Tower.
Going to be a slow fight here with these ball and chain guards, but there's an item. Well, there's two items blocked back here for Incoherent to try to go for. So just going to have to play this a little bit slow. Should have enough magic to get through.
Should. He has to remember there are two guards in the back room as well. But each of these ball and chain guards takes 8 hits from a Samaria block. I think.
Yep. Gets through them both. And then there's the dagger guards. There we go. And our item? Small key to desert. That's a nice one to find.
Yes, it is, because that locks 2 items and logically locks the boss. Although a lot of runners will check the 2 items and save scum those. But and Incoherent is attempting to get to the check in the dark maze and makes it for some bombs. That half a heart was a little scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's... I think between having blue mail, I believe Incoherent has blue mail, and using some cane strats to get around. Not the scariest, but yeah, that was close.
And we get flippers off Laser Bridge. It looks like Wallkicks is going for, at the very least, top and bottom of Laser Bridge.
I can't imagine Wallkicks is going to skip the rest of this.
I saw him do the invulnerability strat from the bottom one, so I didn't know if he was going to try and do it for Well, those are some clean laser skips.
Yes, very nicely done on those laser skips, those bootsless laser skips. Now, Wall Kicks does have the Cane of Samaria, and I think Wall Kicks might actually work backwards in TR here to reach the Crystal Roller Room.
I wouldn't be surprised for certain, because I think a lot of runners have run this Dark Maze in TR before without a lamp, and that can be tricky, but it is significantly easier to go backwards without one.
Yeah, if you didn't know, going backwards in the Dark Maze here, all you have to do is hold up. That's really all there is to it.
Did I
Is
just
it left? I've always held up.
Did I just see Incoherent bait the hard hat beetle into the laser to give him an invulnerability frames?
That is very possible.
It may not have been intentional, but that is in fact what I just saw.
Meanwhile, Wallkick's finding Sea House in Thieves Town.
So Sea House moved next door.
Yeah. It's a more spacious location. It's got some security with a pullable door.
A little more secure of a house. And Wallkicks is checking the rest of Kakariko.
Yeah, nice little combo going on here for Wallkicks' side. Having followed a few more connectors and thus not really getting a chance to check all of Kakariko, with that mirror now being able to combo these is pretty nice. So it does appear we've pretty much scoured the whole west side of both Light and Dark World.
I mean, there's Swamp Palace.
That's a great find. Unfortunately, we have a lot of steps before we can really do this. And this is that route over to the left side race game that Incoherent took.
And Sick Kid has moved to an isolated location.
So yeah, that's what we were saying with the requirement of having Mirror to get to that spot. And welcome to everybody from Speed Gaming 2. We are in the middle of the Link to the Past Randomizer daily race with the Crosskeys mode for tonight.
And we've got Dig Game for Incoherent.
And that's a lot of digs for 20 bucks.
17 digs. He didn't even really get his money back from the digging either.
Yeah, that was a very bare bones digging game. You usually see a lot more come up during that.
And Wallkicks is in Spiral Cave. And Incoherence found the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, K45 is Tower of Hera, so another dungeon. This one we have a few more options. Unfortunately, we can't do the basement.
That's a shovel.
Very convenient location
Effectively
for
a
one as well.
K45.
Between having the mirror and now having the shovel, you know, we're going to see Stumpy and we're going to see the dig spot. And the exit to Spiral Cave puts us out at the right side desert entrance. So we're going to get at least a check. We got a Gina check, nothing there.
One thing that I love seeing in a race like this is Divergence, and Crosskeys is a mode with a lot of that. And the Smiths live down by the desert today.
And that half magic off of Stumpy was a nice little refill for Incoherent, having had to use the rest of the magic on just getting those item checks out of Tarapera.
So one item we missed while watching Incoherent do something was Wallkick's got the flute.
Yeah, these I don't want to call what Wallkicks has been doing gambling in a sense, but it has been a slightly riskier strategy following all these connectors. But definitely paying off with the flute.
The flute makes me think of back to finding Bumper Ledge. Because our access to Bumper Ledge is pretty much on top of a flute spot.
Got to see both the Light World and Dark World sides of Hype Cave. Unfortunately, nothing on either of them.
And welcome to Raiders from Speed Gaming Prime. Or Main. Welcome to the Crosskeys Daily Race today.
Now, Incoherent here is heading towards these South Shore checks. The one kind of worry in heading this direction is we don't have a glove yet, so there's that liftable rock over by Ice Rod Cave, and oh boy, we have Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that liftable rock is a concern. Although I imagine we'll actually be seeing a quick swim there from in the Dark World, because with the Mire and the flippers, that's our first sword. With the Mire and the flippers, we're able to get down to the Dark World equivalent of the Ice Rod Cave area.
Yes, commonly known as the Dark Shopping Mall. Similar to Potion Shop in Light World being an easily isolated location, Dark Shopping Mall is probably equally notorious in terms of Dark World locations.
I've heard arguments that Dark Shopping Mall is probably the most isolated checks you can do in the game. So being able to route them in efficiently, like this seed's going to allow us, is a big boon for this run.
Yeah, having fallen victim to that area myself on a few occasions, I will very, very easily agree with you there.
It's especially where if we find something down there, we know ahead of time we're going to have to return to the Dark Shopping Mall. And Wallkicks activates the flute, and we'll be going up to Death Mountain.
Not a bad set of checks here. Immediately paying off finding our Graveyard Ledge cave. This is a good cave to find actually early in most Crosskeys, because not only are you able to get an item, you also get free bombs.
And especially useful for this area, we get to fill hearts a bit before going through the cabbages.
So yeah, you see Wallkicks did use that cave to get an extra set of bombs just to fill back up on that. There is the fairy side of Ice Rod Cave. Meanwhile, Incoherent going through the dark portion of Eastern Palace. This is, of course, one of the more common dark rooms, so no real trouble there.
And we have the Brothers connector at the Death Mountain area. So, it's notable with Death Mountain. West Death Mountain has one entrance guaranteed. Somewhere on it.
Yes, we are guaranteed to find that old man. So where is it?
Well, that's a fire rod. There is a fire rod on top of that spectacle rock today. There's also a Palace of Darkness.
And we have one small key, so we do have some access in this dungeon.
Oh, that is a topic that can start fights in some Crosskeys communities. If you have a small key and no bow and hammer, do you go through the front door?
I still would no matter what in this mode, honestly, but obviously I'm not playing, and Wall Kicks is, and says no. Although this might be...
No. Wall Kicks, remember there's a potion up there. We might be seeing... Oh, so remember how I said there's a old man cave somewhere up here?
Yep.
That somewhere can include the Tower of Hera, which happens to be the case today. And our Bombos medallion is found as we check Bombos tablet.
Yeah, Bombos tablet's not going to help us, but a Bombos medallion's nice.
And Wall Kicks is taking a trip into Palace of Darkness.
And we'll open the front. Yep, Wall Kicks is going to head in that front door. So that potion pickup was really just to be able to probably do the potion glitch on the Bowlock side, but still is going to be able to check out a few items here.
Well, without the hammer, he still has to go through the front door. Even with a potion. So
True.
It makes sense to open the front door. Because you'll be getting 4 checks out of here.
I don't know if I like seeing that big key.
I don't know if people like seeing that big key.
So, in terms of your Crosskeys requirements to climb GT, they aren't really that extensive. Wall Kicks has most of the equipment required already. Or knows where it is.
I believe what we're missing at this point consists of a small key and a bow.
Yep.
At the moment, based on the equipment, it is not something most players do, but Wall Kicks could notice the fact that he is close to a swordless climb of the tower. Luckily, there is a sword somewhere for us. That somewhere happens to be Eastern Palace.
Now, I believe Incoherent actually has skipped all of the Dark Shopping Mall Ice Rock Cave area. This could be a wait until finding that glove.
It could be, easily. And it is letting Incoherent combo this all together in with the eastern area as well.
Yeah. Now, Incoherent did head into that cave there on the light world side of the eastern area, deciding not to go through that. That is a connector. One that you probably wouldn't see in normal gameplay ever. There's a couple of fairies in there, as we find our bomb shop, and hey, Skull Woods and Ice Palace are 5-6 crystals.
You almost never see the front entrance of that connector. Some runners might be more familiar with the back entrance of that connector, as it is the cave with the fairies that you can get into if you mirror from the bottom of TR. And now we're just taking this old man from the tower so he can go home through the... What was in the old man cave again?
I don't remember.
I just always love thinking about the fact that the old man inexplicably goes into a random location.
And he has the amazing power to teleport to his actual home. And the other interesting piece about that is technically starting at Old Man is a logical requirement sometimes.
I just recently saw one where starting Old Man was the only way to get to Bumper Cave.
Ooh. Now here we go with a couple of Dark Death Mountain checks. And that's one of our Hyrule Castle entrances in Spike Cave.
Hyrule Castle, logically, is a pretty tricky place to do things logically. Because the front of Hyrule Castle, only one check is in logic without the key and the lamp.
But it doesn't appear that that's going to stop Wall Kicks. Wall Kicks is heading back up. I think this might be a Hyrule Castle play.
It is 3 entrances as well, so it's a valuable place to know where it is.
Now, do you clear the 2 chests you can get right now? Or do you check the entrances first?
In this exact scenario, I would personally check the entrances, but our loadout is pretty good to get all 3 checks out of the basement, because while the Zelda Cell and the Boomerang check are out of logic, they're still accessible, and most runners will still go for them.
Yeah, the other thing to consider heading outside of that kind of entrance is if you find one you get locked out of.
That happens a lot.
Yep, go through a cave and you find out, oh, it's a liftable rock. Oh, it's Turtle Rock.
Oh, it's Ganon's Tower.
It's Ganon's Tower.
My favorite is always coming out of Ganon's Tower and going, huh, now what? Because almost every time I see that happen to myself, I don't have the hearts to go down Lionel Bridge. Oh yeah, okay, it makes even more sense for Wall Kicks to take this Hyrule Castle path. The Fire Rod one-shots everything.
Yeah. And Incoherent also giving us a check of Ether Tablet here, having that book. I thought that's what it said. That was a gotta go fast. Uh-oh.
Oh no, are you kidding me?
Those are our boots on Ether Tablet.
Oh no! So, those are blocked by 2 swords.
And yeah, Incoherent having the book, that is a huge piece of knowledge, and unfortunately Wallkicks did not have the book at that moment, so unable to read that tablet, and is finishing most of these checks. So very likely, Wallkicks might not find this information out for a long time.
Yeah. And Wallkicks is navigating Dark Cross. Makes it to the Snake Room. I can never remember. Does Crosskeys follow Fire Rod logic?
I believe it is all still on advanced logic. And hey, another pot small.
I mean, those are useful. So now we've gotten the items, we check what these entrances are. And hey! Dark
that
shopping
might be,
mall.
yeah, that's probably the most convenient dark shopping mall I've ever seen.
Oh hey! The other dark shopping mall entrance we can do is desert. So, of our 3 entrance dungeons, both of their middle doors are at Dark Shopping Mall.
And just a second, I have to call this out. It's Hotel Mario!
And we get red mail off the brewery at Ice Rod Cave area.
So Incoherent into pod does not have a potion, but still going to check out some entrances, see what we can find out of here. And here goes that last entrance for wall kicks on Hyrule Castle, and we've got
Mimic Cave.
the DDM bridge. There's the other end of Bumper Cave.
Finding this TR ledge is fantastic if you have a Mire.
Yes.
And there's the top of that cave.
So knocking out cave entrances really quickly here.
And a fairy to heal you after doing the dark Hyrule Castle sewers.
Yeah, you learn to find there are a lot of fairy caves in this game.
And wall kicks will be going through this connector back to Bumper Ledge. And now we see what's behind this Crosskeys gotcha. Agina does not want visitors today.
Definitely not, but this could be huge. This could be a great item find for wall kicks.
It was
Just
big.
$20. Yeah. Big 20.
But that's one of our difficult to get to spots taken out now.
Yeah, there's a lot of entrances still. You know, it seems like they're starting to kind of retrace steps of each other. Not exactly. There's just so many other entrances you kind of forget.
Wall kicks is not opting to do that yet. But with no magic, Castle Tower is a brutal place to be right now. I don't think wall kicks has the weapons otherwise, actually.
Yeah, I think, no. Between, what is that, 3 bombs? No, that is not nearly enough. There's the other side of Super Bunny.
And Incoherent is showing us where the... And we have Aga Tower.
Not a fan of getting locked out there.
Which dark cave are we in?
Whichever one we're in, it's got holes in it.
Based on the movement, I want to say we just found Death Mountain Descent Cave.
Yeah, that seems pretty logical. But the other side of our Aga Tower entrances, or top of Hyrule Castle, is Thieves Town.
Thieves Town is a good find. 4 free items in the front.
Meanwhile, Wall Kick's heading into Village of Outcasts now. So I don't think there were a lot of entrances Wall Kicks has not checked in Village, and it does appear, yeah, Wall Kicks is just going to head towards south side of here.
He hasn't been down here because he opted to finish out the Kakariko checks instead, which is understandable. Kakariko is a very high density location.
Okay, now Incoherent is actually going to check out this this dark cave. Nicely navigated through that first half of the descent. And I think you are right. Based on the movement in the bats in the dark, that has to be the descent.
Yeah, the descent is probably the hardest of the dark caves, and it takes you to the Mire area.
Very nice find. Great knowledge to know that you have a route into Mire area now. And a small key.
Another pop small.
That is our
That's three
third.
that we know of.
Now, the really cool thing about finding Mire is actually not just the fact that you have access to the desert ledge. You actually have access to every one of these entrances now. If you mirror right in front of the main Mire entrance, that gives you desert front. If you mirror here in the back, that gives you desert rear. So all these entrances are available with Mire access.
And Incoherent is not turning down 300 rupees at this moment.
I don't know anybody who would.
And not only that, we have Bombos access. I didn't know you could mirror there.
I always thought it was a little bit closer, and that's actually an interesting fairy to find. So that is the Luck Fairy. So, not going to buy any bomb or arrow upgrades. I kind of get it, given we already have a sword, but definitely one of those things you kind of think about.
And with Bombos as the access, there's Blind Hideout too. This is an absolutely loaded route for Incoherent right now. But with Bombos as Mire access, we can take out every entrance in this area except for Checkerboard.
So, Wall Kicks, yes, did not do Hera Basement, but that was due to a lack of magic. Having just picked up the half magic for the magic refill, goes, hey, let's go back.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's an item. You can fully get it right now.
Plus, you get 40 or so seconds to give your hands a break.
Yeah, the beginning of a Crosskeys is very intense. There's a lot of note-taking, clicking and running and moving and just constantly checking as much as you can. So just that little moment to kind of collect your thoughts, begin to think, okay, what's my plan of attack here?
I believe Ether was the only thing of note in that Blind's hideout.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything else either.
Shoutouts to Cyber Chow X, our tracker today.
And in general, actually, I don't think Mire gave us a lot this time. Some nice knowledge.
It took out a lot of... Oh, there's an old man cave.
That's a great location for the old man cave. And, oh, wow. Ooh, Ice Palace.
Easy access Ice Palace.
Yeah. And Chicken Hut.
We can actually do a lot in Ice Palace right now. We just don't have a hammer or a glove or a boss key, so we can only get like 5 of the 8 checks, 4 of which are only 4 of which are logical.
Yeah, I would still consider ice breaking and getting that first Hammerlock chest.
Yeah, me too. But if you're lucky, you can end up clearing most places in this game without a glove. Ice Palace is one of those you just can't.
Yeah.
Because to get to Cold Stare, you need to pick up a block.
To get the small key in Atrium, you need a glove.
In both situations, you also need a hammer. Now, with Walkix where he is at the moment, it's worth noting that even the floodgate has been randomized. However, in order to work around the fact that the floodgate and the swamp palace have both been put in randomized locations, entrance randomizer, once you drain the floodgate, it stays drained.
Yeah, what that also means is once you drain that floodgate, you want to make sure to go back to the actual dam location because there's an item there.
You sound like someone
item can be very important.
You sound like somebody who has left a hook shot there before.
Not a hook shot. I've actually seen a friend leave an item there for a long time. I believe it was a fire rod once.
Happens to everybody.
Exactly. We've all left something there that's come back. You know, this is the story of Crosskeys.
Wallkick's committing to Bombos before going into Eastern. And Incoherent, where did we just find this? Incoherent is going to be picking up the item at the Lava Island in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and that's not a bad idea in this mode. You know, a lot of the time when we talk about key sanity modes, you go, oh, you don't want to check this item, and it's for Quake Medallion. But in a Crosskeys, because of the fact that the entrances are all shuffled, you can generally get away with doing this dungeon with maybe a key just for Trinex. Because there's just nice routes around the rest of this dungeon.
Having... Ooh, and the chain chomps force some Incoherent off the blocks. But... have we found the front of Turtle Rock yet?
I don't believe so, but we did just find out Misery Mire was our green pendant from Sahasrahla. And Saha's Closet, just some money.
We'll just take Saha's allowance here.
And that was on our Lake Hylia Island.
Man, our elders do not want to have many visitors, do they?
No, these are definitely some isolated places to go.
They are trying to stay isolated at this time. And here under the bridge is somebody who doesn't leave. We've got our half camper giving us some money.
I will say that big bomb location over by the pod area is actually not one of the worst ones you could get. That's a pretty convenient spot if you have to go into the pyramid.
Yeah, it's just the cave outside of the pod area, isn't it?
No, it was the pod temple.
Pod temple?
Yeah.
That's not bad, no. And we have a small key on the pyramid.
Our other castle tower small. That's not really going to do anything for us this time.
No, it really isn't. Because we already have access... in Crosskeys, there are two main reasons you would fight Aga 1. One is something of note is under the lumberjack tree, or you just don't have East Dark World access.
And that is definitely not the case at all today.
What with a fairy in the tree and we happen to be on East Dark World right now?
Exactly.
But we may not have traditional East Dark World access, but we do have the flippers, which take slightly longer, but they get you there. Remember how I was asking about the front of Turtle Rock?
I seem to recall that coming up very recently. We do have it now.
There are 3 checks up here, so it's always good to find this when you can. Even if when you can happens to be after you kill Trinex.
I have definitely used that strategy. As Incoherent does find the Hyrule Castle entrances, Wallkick's remembering, hey, I don't have a hook shot, so let's take the proper way around this torch puzzle.
I've made the mistake of trying to do this by muscle memory before.
I've made it multiple times in the same seed. Oh no!
That was an unfortunate misclick, Ken. Luckily, he makes it through the door. I thought he'd have to redo that for a moment. That is probably the most useful small key we could have found overall.
Now, that's not a bad big key either. That means once we find the back of Desert, we have the ability to actually defeat Lamolus. And since we know where Desert Palace is, Wallkicks can also get an item out of the Desert Big Chest.
It would do Wallkicks a lot of good if he were able to get past... If he were able to get to Aga Tower with the magic. Given that the Desert Small is on the first floor.
And yeah, the one of the big things that was pointed out in chat, look at that health. 12 hearts and 13 hearts respectively already, and we're not even an hour into this seed, and Wallkicks has red mail while Incoherent's on blue mail. This is a very safe seed in many ways.
Crosskeys, because of how quickly you can go to find things, it tends to throw you so much defensive safety. It is not uncommon to end with 15 or 16 hearts and red mail.
So, question in chat, how long does a key sanity take? I think comparing key sanity to cross keys, of course, key sanity can, take around 2 hours. I say a lot of cross keys is, 2.5 very frequently. Sometimes you can really get a clown routed cross keys can give you an hour and a half. But that is a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, I've seen a few sub-2 cross keys, but I think I've seen 2 sub-140s for timing comparisons. And Wallkicks is going to mirror at the top of the pyramid here, which does get you up here on top of the castle, and Incoherent has acquired the red mail from Ice Rod Cave area. Has left Hyrule Castle to Dark Shopping Mall.
And finds that desert entrance. And we're going to get to see the right side of desert. This is going to be some new info. We have not seen these 2 chests yet.
And if anything important is here, Wallkicks can't get them right now. And that is a hammer.
Yeah, that's a really important find. Not just from the standpoint of, hey, we've got some offensive capabilities, that also means we actually have access to some of other East Death Mountain. We have that access to that cave at the top of East Death Mountain.
We're also one item away from being able to reduce our connector reliance.
Actually, we've had seen Mimic Cave a lot earlier in the seed. Was that Hyrule Castle front? Or where was that?
I don't remember seeing Mimic Cave myself, but
I do remember seeing it, I just forget where specifically it was.
It's hard to remember some of these things. So a lot of the challenge is being able to remember where you saw something.
Yeah, that's why, as we said, take good notes. The more complete your note-taking can be and how you keep track of things is what will be leading to success in this mode.
And Walkix has to take a swim, but we'll get the last notable entrance here, which does unfortunately isolate the catfish.
But
boy, is this a good location.
Yeah.
Because I believe we got a hint that this is a crystal.
Yes, we did. We found out that was one of our red crystals.
And we know where the other red crystal is.
And I think we're about to get a very important chat check here. Hey, you want to know what's on the pedestal? Here we go.
We already know there's an ether tablet boot, and that's... I mean, that is not the most useful of big keys, because if you can get the hook shot, that's only one check that it blocks, but...
I must say, that's the first time I've actually seen the Hera big key text. Bravo, game, bravo.
So, technically, we have two important items on... We have an important item on a tablet and an important item on pedestal. That book is paying dividends for itself right now.
So the big difference right now, of course, is Walkix was able to find that flute, whereas Incoherent has that sword and now hammer. So, some differences of routing, making little changes. And here we go, Incoherent getting that item off of the lumberjack ledge, having that hammer. Not really a required blue cane, but
I don't know. If I don't have a cape, I will pick up a blue cane if I see it. Just in case we need something out of Spike Cave.
And Incoherent's heading back into GT. Having the Fire Rod and the Hammer and the Cane of Samaria, at least at right side, now we can actually make some progress here. So we've got 4 items for sure, as well as the fact that we have the big key. So,
This is Crosskeys. I'd actually say we have 5 items, because I'd still do this room right here.
Yes. Watch as Incoherent dances with the tiles.
And Walkix just did what is one of my least favorite ledge jumps in the game, just because jumping off that ledge triggers that Dacto.
And
that's big.
That is huge. So that means Incoherent now has the ability to go get those boots.
Yeah, that's a gigantic find.
Meanwhile, Wallkicks does find the Desert Small Key, and having that Desert Big Key as well, I think that will send Wallkicks back over to Desert Palace sooner rather than later to find that hammer.
Well, there's another sword.
And our cape.
So this seed went from tricky combat to good combat very quickly. And luckily, if Wallkicks goes to do GT, Wallkicks will get that Master Sword.
And surprisingly, Incoherent leaving GT without going all the way to Armos.
I wouldn't call it surprising. We did just get access to the Pegasus boots.
I wonder if we might see a return trip to GT to begin checking some of the left side as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. The thing with going to Ice Armos right now is Ice Armos is actually a relatively time-consuming fight right now.
Yeah, even with that Tempered Sword, that is not a quick fight. Although, I will say, Incoherent has the Cane of Burna, which will make quick work out of the Armos Knights.
That Spiral Cave X is fantastic.
Yeah, Wallkick's also giving us a look at the back of Skull Woods. Nothing this time, though.
And we'll be finding out that the Harris Big Key is on the pedestal.
I think what we're all hoping for, obviously, is Hookshot at the top of Hera, right?
I mean, the ultimate insult would be in the big chest, of course. But I'll admit, I'm not like most of Twitch chat. I don't hope for that regularly. But
yeah, I don't either.
Partly because you and I are currently in comms booth, and if that happens, we have to be here for the whole time of it. Not that I don't have fun doing this, of course.
Of course. So just a little note as well. So while this is, of course, we are featuring Wallkicks and Incoherent tonight on this restream. This race does have 15 total runners on it, so 13 other runners are going at it on this seed, giving it their all. So really a lot of participation on this one.
Yeah, a lot. This is a favorite mode for a reason. Because you get to see some really crazy things with this mode. And a lot of times you will see something in a place where you're like, huh, that couldn't happen normally.
So Incoherent is making that beeline for the boots after activating the flute. Great timing for that. Finding of the flute and activation makes it real easy to get back up the mountain. And we're going to have boots.
I do not blame Incoherent for running up here as fast as he could.
On Wallkick's side, however, we are going to get to see this Desert Palace big chest.
And like you mentioned earlier, we're going to East Death Mountain too.
Yeah, just one entrance over here that we haven't seen yet. But we also get to see that floating island. Floating island is just a piece of heart, so not really important this time.
Yeah. Hey, it's vanilla. And K45 Day has a map.
And it's the map of Thieves Town, so that's another piece of info about, crystals and pendants. Now, where is Incoherent heading to now?
Palace of Darkness.
Yep.
We just got a hammer. And I think Incoherent has a potion. Well, actually, we have plenty of keys and already opened the front door.
Yep, 2 extra keys means we can get most of Pod. Not logically, but we can get there.
We'll be able to get... what is the logical key requirement for this back area? Is it 3 or is it 4?
I believe it's 4 usually because I don't believe the key logic. I think that was an error on Incoherent side.
That looked like an error to me.
So yeah, the way it works is 4 keys to get to the back of Pod, because technically there's that front door key, there's the key to the vanilla big key chest, and then you could also spend a key for some reason trying to get back to Helmasaur King. So if you spend your 3 keys that way, technically this back door is not openable. Oh, we got Hype Cave.
We have a good Hype Cave too.
And that's a really nice find for wall kicks.
So the bow means that the bow actually makes that GT trip even better now. Because, was that a key to Pod in the basement of Pod?
Of course it was. That's Pod for you. And there's our TR big key as well.
Pod and TR are pretty much my go-tos for dungeons that always have their own small keys. That's our first glove.
That means we have Dark World access in a very plain, normal way. So both of our runners really starting to put together the pieces for this seed. Different pieces, so we do know a lot of what's going on. Luckily, Wall Kicks is about to get 2 swords out of this play into Ganon's tower.
With the bow, I would not be surprised to see Wall Kicks dip all the way to Ice Armos.
Now, do you make a climb here?
I don't know.
No boots and no hook shot means not a lot of ways to try to make this
no
ending.
Hook shot would actually lead me to say no.
But for Incoherent side, this does mean that as soon as Incoherent finds that rear Skull Woods entrance, that's Pyramid Fairy access for Incoherent.
Question is, will anything be there?
Worst case,
and there's that
dungeons.
Master Sword for Wall Kicks.
Incoherent finding out about Mire being our green pendant. And Wall Kicks is heading deeper into the right side of GT.
With a bow, this is not the biggest surprise to me. Just because we do have access to everything easily by going back through here.
Yeah, the armor fight will
Incoherent
not be
is
too bad.
swimming to... Incoherent has given us a swim to Zora area.
Well, we do have a lot of money, and we got flippers, so...
And there is an entrance there. And Wall Kicks will be doing a relatively simple bomb jump overall.
Yeah, definitely one of the easier ones to pull off if you're still learning bomb jumps. That's probably only easy. Hey, there's the pod.
That's a pod big. That feels bad for Incoherent. Because if Incoherent, even if Incoherent had pushed on through and taken the long fight, Incoherent would have been able to get that pod big here. But a slow Armos fight can just take a while.
And this pays off with a lamp. I mean, at this point, we've seen a lot of the dark rooms for this seed, but still a good find. But Incoherent's going to take that glove and extend that into checking the back of Escape.
Wall Kicks has the option of picking up the reward for pod now.
And that was our Swamp Palace big key in the GT big chest.
Not a key you like to see usually. Although you like to see it when you've not gone to the swamp yet.
Yeah, no. When we finally find the dam, we technically have full clear access of Swamp Palace on Walkix's side, besides Hookshot, of course.
And Walkix finds the connector that leads to the castle tower, and with the Master Sword just cuts his way back through and goes back to Death Mountain.
And that's a good thing, because Walkix is about to get the...
You were just talking about the floodgate?
Yeah, of course. You know, we talk about it, it happens. But yeah, here we go. So Walkix is going to get those boots. Definitely good timing to come back up the mountain and get these checked. But yeah, that glove really paying dividends for Incoherent.
So, yeah. That's a place for boots. Incoherent is taking the desert connector to get to the Dark Shopping Mall.
Not a bad idea. I imagine we'll also see the Desert Torch Key, because I don't think we've actually seen that yet from Incoherent. Or Walkix, actually, because nobody had boots.
That's a good find.
Yeah, 5 items. This late, you know, and I say late, but at this point in the seed, 5 items is a huge set of checks.
The Thieves Town Big is pretty good.
Yeah. Another GT small isn't bad in terms of routing that basement.
Especially where Incoherent will likely want to go left side. There is one downside to Walkix's route at the moment. Walkix is going directly to Helmasaur King. We know that there's a glove in Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, unfortunately, Walkix only has 1 key right now for House of Darkness, so gonna need at least 2 more to get that glove. Meanwhile,
Technically,
Incoherent
only needs 1 more key.
Oh, did Incoherent, did Walkix open the door to the back?
No, but we have a small key in U Room.
True. Incoherent did find the rear Skull Woods entrance, and having a sword and the fire rod means we're about to get, is this going to be our first actual boss kill?
Discounting Ice Armos? Yes.
And not just a boss kill, this is actually going to be our first crystal coming up here.
And our tracker, Cyberchow, is correct. Reading the pedestal did tell us what Tower of Hera is. Because to get the pedestal, we need the pendant, so Hera cannot be a pendant. And with our red crystals known, Hera is a guaranteed blue pendant. Or blue crystal.
So we are getting simultaneous boss fights here. Incoherent taking down Mothula. Meanwhile, Walkix taking down the Helmasaur King. What is our prize for Palace of Darkness?
That's a good question. Our prize is a bottle.
And it's a pendant.
We also have Pendant Thieves Town. Now, Incoherent has a glove, so Incoherent will be checking the catfish. Which is good, because this check is super easily orphaned. Super easily isolated.
I don't imagine Wallkicks is going to head back there until... Well, luckily, that'll probably happen the same time as clearing out back of Skull Woods. So, at least that's kind of a convenient placement for the Skull Woods. Now, the only problem here is Wallkicks is going into ice without a glove.
Yeah, it's not ideal by any means, but what can you do with no keys to pod? And Incoherent is checking one of our last lift blocks to find Spike Cave. With Blue Cane, Half Magic, and 14 Hearts, Spike Cave is trivial.
Almost had enough not even to break out that Blue Cane, but just playing it a little bit safe at the end there.
I believe Wallkicks is setting up a potential for Cold Stare if he finds the glove. And Incoherent is going to be joined... No? Oh, he's going to be fluting away from Ice Palace. I'm genuinely surprised. Although, we did get... Oh, Incoherent's going back for GT at this point. So, with no glove, Wallkicks cannot get a key to go the Icebreaker route.
So we get to see both Icebreaker and Ice Palace Bomb Jump all in the same, by the same player on one Crosskeys race.
How often can you say you see one player do both tricks?
Very, very rarely.
I'll admit, this is a first for me. And Incoherent will be breaking the logic to check the Stalfos room here with a relatively simple to find the other bow.
Well, ain't that convenient.
So, the other, for reference, the bow we've already found is a hype cave in the Hammer House in Dark Village.
Which is definitely something Incoherent will likely hit. Having regular Dark World access at this point, I can't imagine Incoherent forgets that location.
Very clean Ice Palace Bomb Jump from Wallkicks.
Meanwhile, Incoherent continuing to sequence break a lot of the Ganon's Tower left side here, using very nice bomb jumps.
I don't blame him for breaking logic to get the items out of here at all.
Yeah, exactly. This is well worth the time. I imagine at this point, Incoherent's going to full clear the basement.
So what's behind all of the GT small keys?
A lot of small keys. None are all that valuable, though.
I don't know. Wallkicks probably like that Ice Palace one right now.
Yeah, the only issue for Wallkicks being inside of Ice Palace, of course, is no big key, so a little bit of missed opportunity.
Really? I thought you were going to say no glove.
I mean, that's always one too, but between that and no big key. I do wonder if that's why Incoherent did not go into ice. Is just waiting for that big key.
It's possible. Oh, hi, Misery Mire.
And the only thing we're missing to clear Mire at this point is the Mire Big. But if we have
It's
Mire
also a
Big,
green pendant.
if we have Mire Big, that almost means we have pedestal access.
True.
Of course, we also need a couple of pod smalls.
And depending on... we would also be requiring one Thieves' Town Small, logically, as well.
Like the one that it shows Incoherent has.
I must have missed where that was.
Yeah, I don't recall that either, but shout out to our tracker, Cybertow, for that one, because, oh boy.
Solo tracking Crosskeys with runners of this caliber doing two completely different routes. Yet, Cyberchild deserves all of the shoutouts right now.
And actually, as we're nearing the hour-and-a-half mark, I think we also need to definitely shout out these runners. Make sure to give Wall Kicks and Incoherent a follow because, wow, they are putting on quite the show, quite a clinic of how you can play this mode.
Okay, we have a red potion.
Not much in Mire this time, but we are also getting a check of, here we go, with the King's Tomb. And just another shop.
Yeah, that's a... not much in King's Tomb.
So I think in terms of entrances we have not seen the back of Desert. And I think that's it for dungeons.
I think so.
But Wall Kicks is continuing to check as much... Oh, never mind. There's back of Desert.
It's amazing how commentators can do this.
It is a gift and a curse.
And here in the vanilla big key chest, we have a big 20. It's not the most surprising thing that whatever's here is nothing, because, well, everything else in Misery Mire, including Vitreous, is accessible with no small keys. These two over here on the left side, blocked by the fire, are also blocked by all three small keys in Misery Mire.
But Wall Kicks is trying to get at least all 6 of the checks in that he can right now.
And it looks like 2 more pod smalls came from... to Cyberchow, we got 2 small keys to pod in Misery Mire, because the bridge check that you were asking about was also a pod small key.
Does that mean we're just 1 Misery Mire big key away from pedestal? Because I think that's all 6.
We might be.
Meanwhile, Incoherent does find Hype Cave, so we'll be getting the silver arrows momentarily.
Plus some more money.
Yeah,
Quite
so
a bit more money.
Incoherent has 4 pod smalls and has not visited Mire. So if Incoherent goes to Mire, that would be all 6. And Incoherent says, hey, I've got all the keys I need to take down Trinex. Let's do it.
Always fun. The mini Helmosaur tries to stop him.
Which reminds me, where was Ice Rod?
That's a great question.
Unfortunately, the great difficulty of Crosskeys when 2 runners of this ability are just all over the
Back of
place.
escape.
Back of escape. Okay, that makes sense.
I think, in addition to shouting out our tracker, we need to shout out our chat for helping us out so much. Because this would be impossible without them. And down goes Trinex, giving us another shield.
While Wallkicks is going for the Skull Woods kill of Mothula for another crystal. So that's 2 crystals apiece now.
One and one for Wallkicks. Wallkicks has 1 pendant and 1 crystal.
Oh. Good point.
But still, this is about the point when the Crosskeys picks up its pace.
Yeah. If you talk to a lot of runners who go through this kind of mode, what usually the way to think about this is you start off with a very heavy focus on checking entrances, and then at a certain point, there's almost this switch that goes off in your head, and you're like, I need to start checking, or I need to start clearing dungeon after dungeon.
And the Bunk Cave is just a shop.
So we're definitely missing quite a few big keys. Eastern Big. And actually, is that the only big key that we really, really need here? I mean, if we get Eastern Big and Hookshot, I think that is quite possibly go mode at this point.
I think so. Ganon's at the ferry. So yeah, I think we would just need Hookshot, yes. Oh, that's a back of Old Man Cave.
Yeah, there's a few prize caves I don't think we've seen really yet. I don't think we've seen either end of Hookshot Cave even.
That's kind of the big one we're missing, is that Hookshot Cave.
I think we've seen most of the other really nice item locations.
Wallkicks. Oh, I thought for a minute he was going to Eastern.
Yeah, it's the same seed, just drastically different routing. But Incoherent is going...
There's our Mimic Cave!
I was like, I know I saw Mimic Cave. And here we go for Incoherent. We're about to get to see a Lamo fight with silver arrows or fire rod strats.
Some people are more comfortable with fire rod strats, and to be fair, if you miss the arrow, it takes a while.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot get a second reload for that for a little bit. And Wall Kicks is into Eastern Palace. Nice little knowledge there from Wall Kicks, using that Cane of Burna to dash through that room.
Just now getting the sword that we saw a while back, probably feels a little bad finding your third sword in a sphere one location. But
yeah, so as you're seeing here, Incoherent is just blitzing these dungeons. Just clearing as much as possible, one after the other, hoping to find the items necessary to finish this seed. Meanwhile, Wall Kicks is still looking for a lot of equipment. Not only, of course, the hookshot, like Incoherent is, but that glove.
And it will. I think it'll take Wall Kicks a little bit to get back to Dark Palace.
Yeah, I'm hoping those couple of keys out of Mire will kind of cement the idea that I need to go back to Pod, but I can see it taking a bit.
Because I believe Wall Kicks. I know that Wall Kicks is capable of getting everything off of 5 small keys at this point, because with Hammer Yump, you don't need to open the door toward the big chest.
So, given what we have here, and Incoherent's definitely in great shape, where do you go? I see in chat, Ice Palace should be the play, and it looks like that's what it is.
Yeah, you go to Ice Palace. You know where it is, and it's pretty much right on top of where you start.
Yeah, I think the only worry here is hopefully that big key doesn't come back and bite us. But at this point, I think you just got to go with it.
Ah, that's where the Thieves' Town Small was.
Yeah, and do you actually go back to Thieves' Town, knowing it's a pendant? It's only 4 items in the back.
That depends on if we find a hook shot.
I mean, we also are still locked without a Mire Big, so...
But if we don't have a hook shot, it grows more and more tempting the longer we don't have a hook shot.
Now, we are going to get one additional check from Incoherent here. Of course, before Cold Stare, we were not able to see the H room of Ice Palace, as Wall Kicks lacked a glove that first trip in.
And here's another one from Wall Kicks showing us a little bit of smarts here. Showing us the smarts of an experienced player. We found that small key to Hyrule Castle at Hype Cave.
Good point. This does put the back of escape in logic. And yes, I do believe it was GT for that Thieves' Town Big.
Ooh, you're right. So that big key is locked by the hook shot. So we know that... So where... In Incoherent Shoes, where he knows that, the answer's pretty much no. In Incoherent Shoes, I would not go to Thieves' Town, because unless the Eastern Big is in Thieves' Town, there's not much of a point.
Yeah.
Because you're guaranteed a hook shot to get into Thieves' Town.
And here we go, Wall Kicks heading back to GT. Is this a play for left side or a climb? Left side first. And actually, I just thought about it. We do have one item drop down at Pyramid.
I'm more concerned about the 3 items on top.
Yeah, well, that's for sure, but it is technically a location. Still locked behind Hookshot. And yes, this is Wallkick's 3rd trip into Ganon's Tower.
GT Big or Thieves Town Big Key in Rando Room, maybe?
Possibly.
How do you like running into blocks and bouncing off of them?
When it's logical, I will bonk against every block possible. I have had a Moon Pearl in the Firebar room.
I've had Hookshot in it.
And here we go, Cold Stare over on Incoherent side. So this is the other 5-6 crystal, or yeah, this is the other 5-6 crystal. Locked by the big key, so technically Pyramid's not in logic, but it's something that could be checked.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see it get checked if they're in the area of the bomb shop anyways. Just because the bomb shop is pretty close.
Yeah, I think Swamp might be the play. You know, that's the question from chat. Do you just dip Swamp? I mean, that's 6 items you can get.
Yes, it is. And I mean, vanilla or French vanilla hookshot never feels good. But that's a rude dead rock right there.
Have you ever met a kind Dead Rock?
The ones that don't get in my way.
I don't think that's kindness. I think that's just they don't care. And yes, the Swamp Palace Big Key was in the GT Big Chest. And this is a huge play for Wallkicks, by the way, getting back into Palace of Darkness. We will get to see a few extra checks from Wallkicks as a result.
He does... Okay, which small key did he not get?
The small key was the one in the basement.
Because at the moment he's at 5.
Yeah, so he's going to get the one in the Dark View room.
I'm including the Dark View room, I'm sorry. Because he used 2.
Oh.
I mean, he has 5, so not the biggest thing, so... There's always a small key to pod in pod, I swear.
Yeah, this will feel good, though, for Wallkicks, and could actually be a big turning point if, you know, depending on when Incoherent heads back to Palace of Darkness, this could be some extra time to kind of, or a chance to make up some ground. Depending on what's in the big chest, and also in the vanilla big key chest.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, we've got Hookshot Cave now. So, but Incoherent only checking the front entrance.
He's mirroring for Minute Cave. Alright, and our vanilla big key check is coming up. And the other checks in pod do not have anything important.
It is a full clear for wall kicks, and the glove is a really nice find, as well as that TR big key. So nice little progress. And surprisingly, Incoherent is heading into Thieves Town, based on the discussion, but I guess,
Now I don't remember what a Thief's Big was, by the way. Because it wasn't in GT, from what I can see.
Meanwhile, wall kicks is just going through desert. Nice quick clear of a dungeon, so more progress.
He got the gloves and found it immediately, because when you know a fast way to get to a glove block by taking connector, and it's easy to get to, it's worth doing it. And we have a sand cart in the top of Thieves Town.
I mean, our runners were already hurting for health at this point. We have now reached 17 hearts and Incoherent side. With red mail.
17 hearts and red mail, tempered sword. This is a... Crosskeys likes to give you all the fun stuff.
So will this Thieves Town play pay off for Incoherent? We're still missing quite a bit, and Incoherent is really staying out of Swamp Palace. But I feel like Swamp has to be the play at this point.
The game did give you the Thieves Town key, or at least the Thieves Town small relatively early. I wish I knew where Thieves Town big was. I don't remember. But it's...
so far has not paid off.
Not paid off, no.
And, that hook shot and Eastern Palace Big Key are just looming out there in the world. Where are they?
Wall kicks goes directly for Trinex. Meanwhile, Incoherent is facing off against the multi-headed menace, Blind.
While Wall Kicks is about to face our other multi-headed menace, and hey, there's one of our Go Mode items.
Well, that paid off. Are we in Hookshot Go Mode?
We are in Hookshot Go Mode. So obviously Hookshot is in its vanilla location, right?
Yep. So, where's the other end of Hookshot Cave, do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that Incoherent's going to check this. I feel like... where have we not seen? TR front?
Actually, I think I know where this is going to go. I think this is about to be a vanilla exit.
What? How did you know that?
I've been counting connectors. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, but Incoherent has really checked off pretty much every entrance possible. I think this becomes, must go clear Eastern Palace.
So, what we want to see from Eastern Palace is a hook shot. Is anybody else expecting Titansmiths?
I mean, whew, I don't know if I want to see those.
I don't. That's why I'm expecting it.
I really want to see nothing, and then just force Swamp Palace at this point.
Vanilla hookshot would still be rude.
And actually, has Incoherent found Mire yet? I don't think we've seen Mire from Incoherent's side.
I don't know if we have either. I don't think so, which is surprising because I believe Mire was just a Bonkrock check down by Link's house.
Yeah, it was. But here we go, Incoherent coming up on the Armos Knights. What's our prize gonna be?
I'll be the nice guy. I'll say hookshot.
Turtle Rock Small Key, unfortunately, this time. No real value out of that, so I think at this point, you go to Swamp, right?
There are two options right now, and neither of them is great without hookshot. The options I see right now are go to Swamp and climb GT. Incoherent's taking option 3, which is go to Mire.
Yeah, Incoherent is very, very gonna hard last locate, or not hard last locate, but just not go to Swamp. But I think given having that small and that big key at this point, you kind of have to assume there's something there.
Sword Beam? Do you want to hit the Popo?
And we cannot get the green pendant out of Mire right now. We do not have a big key.
So with Cold Stare down 4 wall kicks, where do you think wall kicks would go next?
Tough call. I mean, no dungeons are clearable for wall kicks at this point. Wall kicks has already explored Mire, has done as much of ice as possible. So,
That's what actually, this is TR Big Chest?
Yeah. A couple of TR checks left for wall kicks.
There's one small key Dark Palace for Incoherent. There's a Turtle Rock small key. And there's the other pod small key.
I wonder if that's going to send Incoherent back over to Pod, which unfortunately does not have anything in this. But a lot of retracing of steps right now from both of our runners, just trying to find these last couple items. Wallkicks needs to head into Thieves Town and take down Blind to get that Eastern Palace big key, whereas Incoherent is just looking for a hookshot now.
Wallkicks nicely gets that key in combination with checking the lifting checks. Ah! Mini Moldrum Cave. I think this was our Thieves Town big key. I think.
We're running out of places that we can be wrong. Yay!
So, that does... I believe that does mean that Hookshot could be behind there a bit.
It could. Please no.
Please don't.
And Incoherent is back in the Tower of Terror for the Hera base, but we did see this earlier from Wallkicks. It is not gonna help out. I think at this point, either you gotta climb GT or it's in Swamp. Pick your poison.
It's time to Mire.
Yep, Incoherent unfortunately stuck. And Incoherent says, I can't get the coffee break I want, so we're going to take the other easy way.
We're just wondering at this point, where's the hookshot?
I'm committing to Swamp. There's my answer.
Oh, in that case, I'll take the other terrible answer, and I'll say it's in a pre-Moldorm room.
And where is Incoherent off to now? Is this back to a GT play? Or is this...
This one's Swamp, because Swamp's right there.
Yeah, I just know GT was also on the way up here as well, so... So big.
You want more fetch quests? You want a fetch quest?
Not exactly at this point. Not that we're far from it, or it's hard to get to, but definitely not a location I want to go. But we're already 2 checks deep in Swamp Palace and no hookshot yet. All we've got is that new big key. Not even a great one.
I think I would rather see Skullwoods right now than have to go back to Misery Mire.
Or ice.
Especially in Kane's case where he just left Misery Mire.
Oh no.
What did we just find?
Misery Mire big key.
Why? Why do I say anything?
Vanilla hookshot. Why not?
Why is that there?
I mean, that's random, right?
No, that's not!
Rando expressly reserves the right to not be rando at times when it is beneficial to itself to not be rando.
That said, incoherence and go mode. Technically.
Go mode from the perspective of Harapot, yes.
Yes. Go mode from the perspective, well, yeah, go mode from the perspective of we can finish the seed. So, I'm going to blame you for this because you predicted it.
I might have said it a while ago. I mean, I had to be right. How many things have I thrown out today that were wrong?
A nice quick Argus fight, though.
Yeah, nicely done. Just a couple of quick spins. And down goes Argus. So Incoherent just has to head to Tower of Hera, take down Moldorm, and that's it. Because I believe that is 6 crystals for Incoherent. Because Incoherent did do Eastern earlier.
Yeah. I believe you're right. So that does mean we get to go up we finally get to go up Tower of Hera. And luckily, it's right here.
Perfect location for it. And you're seeing one of the numerous Harapot strategies here. Nicely done by Incoherent, getting the using that bonk and bomb placement.
Tempered Sword, 18 hearts, and red mail with silver arrows. When we get to Ganon, we're gonna have a blast. Do you know what
we had Gold Sword?
Do you know what we haven't found yet? The potion shop.
Oh yeah. So our bows were Hype Cave and Lefts and DM Room. Or Stalfos Room of GT.
And that is 7 crystals for Incoherent. All that remains is to go back to the fairy drop and fight a pig. And the fastest way there is probably just Flute 2.
Yep.
Yeah, and because we're in Crosskeys, in addition to being in Hype Cave and the Stalfos room. Ganon's tower is in the bomb hut in Kakariko, and Hype Cave was in the Hammer House in Village of Outcasts. And it's time to fight the pig. Out comes Cape.
Already into phase 3. Nice quick Ganon fight going here.
And gets a beautiful... Oh, that could have been a beautiful triple, I think.
Still a great double there.
Makes for an extremely quick phase 4. But once Incoherent gets across this 1x3 bridge, you can get your GGs in chat for Incoherent.
And there we go. Incoherent finishes with an official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 55 seconds. GG to Incoherent. Finishing first on the restream and 4th overall. Just so everybody knows, there were 15 total runners on this race tonight. We had 3 finishers a little earlier than that. Hitsuyan with first place with a 1:50.33. Wolfie in second with a 2:03.20, and T-Stew in third with a 2:05.23. So really, really nice times tonight on this Crosskeys race.
Yeah, we were saying earlier about the average times being a 2 to 2.5. Finishing right here at the 2:05 is a very good time. And we'll see if we can get Incoherent in for an interview today.
As Wall Kicks does take down Blind to get that Eastern Big Key, I imagine Wall Kicks will be heading towards Eastern Palace momentarily for that next crystal.
So that was... I think this seed definitely had a trick with the logical pedestal seed that we got to avoid.
Yeah. Although we eventually did find logical pet access.
The only thing we're missing for logical go mode now is
Ice Big?
Ice Big, and technically I think Ice Small.
We found one Ice Palace small key. So Ice Palace would technically have been Samaria locked at that point, but still clearable.
Maybe a Skullwood's... Did we ever find a third Skullwood Small, do you think? That's the only other thing I think that could throw a...
Yeah, I don't remember seeing another. But the fact that we now have Hookshot and we have Mire Big, I have a feeling we would have found it somewhere between Swamp and Mire.
Probably.
Even Hera, we still had some checks, so I think we would have had the keys easily from those others. And we are now joined by Incoherent. GG's.
GG.
GG Incoherent.
So, thoughts on that seed? Pretty quick.
Very open in the beginning, so it could have been anywhere, and then it just sort of came down to one really bad placement.
So, yeah, bring us, through the whole thought process with Swamp. I know you made plays into Mire, still checking entrances. Just didn't want to go in without the hook shot, I'm guessing.
So I had a bunch of stuff in sort of South Dark World to go clean up. I had a couple chests in TR because I didn't have magic for Crystal Roller the first time I was there. I had a couple other things to look at. I saw Mire, and then I remembered that my one Mire small key was hook locked. At least I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay. Yep.
I bailed half Firelock cycle. Wait a second, it can't be here. And by that time I'd seen Hitsu's finish and went, there is something weird that Hitsu did. What was it?
Hitting that point where you almost start having to metagame a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at that point you're thinking, okay, did he get checkerboard, which I was going to go to next probably? Did he go into Swamp without a hook shot? Did he climb GT without a hook shot? And so since I was down there, and since I knew I only needed a hook shot for go mode, alright, let's just try it.
Alright, and it does look like Wallkicks has opted for a forfeit at this point. So get your GGs in chat for Wallkicks as well.
Yeah, definitely a great run. I think, especially watching your side, Incoherent, getting that early mirror and really helped. And some of the early checks you made definitely lent themselves to fast routing.
I felt a little bad about the hammer placement, but...
And welcome Wallkicks to the commentary booth. GG Wallkicks.
GG's.
The one thing I liked was when I got my second sword and third sword right after another, I went, wait a second, okay, how am I getting back up to the Ether tablet now? And then I found a flute right after that.
Yeah, that definitely worked out great because I could see the gears going, I want boots, they're right there, what's the connectors?
Well, the only connector I had other than that was going back through the pod entrance, which didn't sound like fun.
No.
Also, my brain shorting out a bit when I actually did find a vanilla hook shot in the seed.
So, Wallkicks, I guess, some initial thoughts from the seed. I know, unfortunately, the forfeit, but how'd you feel about it?
It's dumb. I don't get why so many people chose a hookshotless swamp, but okay. And I probably saved 20 minutes if I choose to go to the backup pod instead of killing Helmasaur.
Oh, did you not get the glove in there for a while?
Nope, I last located it.
Oof. I didn't have that choice. I didn't have a bow at that point, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll say, watching from our side of things, the two of you couldn't have taken more divergent routes throughout this seed. Incoherent, you kind of focused more on checking all the entrances, whereas Wallkicks, you took a lot of connectors. So we saw very different ways of going about this seed.
Yeah.
Which did make it a very fun seed to commentate.
Yeah, I mean, just how it goes. This is Crosskeys in a nutshell. You make one decision and lose 20 minutes because of it.
Yeah, you just make some choices, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. There's not really much you can do about it.
Yep.
The joys and pains of this mode, unfortunately.
I'll enjoy the Hera Big Key on pedestal.
Yeah, chat, we did finally
find the logical access to pedestal.
Yeah, the Mire Bakey was right before the hook shot. Just to make me feel bad.
Yeah, whatever. Hookshotless swamp. Let's all choose hookshotless swamp. Makes sense.
felt like I didn't have that many other things left at that point. I had Hook Atlas GT, I had a couple checks left in Pod, I had Hook the Swamp, and I don't remember what else there was, like 2 other things. There wasn't a lot.
Yeah, we were trying to count it off at that point as well, and I think that was all we could come up with. And since we had seen the rest of Pod from Wallkick's side, we knew it was probably either Swamp or GT at that point.
We knew it was a bad decision, no matter how you looked at it.
So since then, though, we have had another finish. Matt 7898 finishing in 5th with a 2:10:34.
And right now, actually, Frostbite 3030 with a 2:16:04.
So, but definitely a lot of fun watching both of you race tonight. Well done either way. It's really fun to see some really experienced runners show off Crosskeys. One of those modes that a lot of newer runners don't want to approach. It almost feels approachable in some regards, but hopefully everybody got to see something that kind of gives them a little kick to maybe try this one out.
I've been working on a How to Crosskeys Gooder guide for newer players who want to learn all the stupid tricks that we all know, and I should probably post that at some point.
Just make sure I heard you. How to Crosskeys Gooder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of really silly things that you sort of learned by doing this mode enough.
Is number 1 take a lot of notes?
Yes.
Numbers 2 and 3 should also be take a lot of notes. Because honestly, I think the note-taking is the most critical part of this game mode.
Yeah, you're not going to remember all this stuff. There's no way. There are a couple of people, I think, in last year's tournament who did. I don't quite understand it. I forget enough stuff even with notes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Sniper and I were up here in the commentary booth trying to remember where we found the Thief's Town Big Key for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Somewhere.
Mini Moldrum Cave.
Yeah, that's somewhere.
We also had a 7th place finish from Jay Coper at 2:16:54 and 8th place Flip Heel at a 2:17:50. But yeah, this was a really excellent race from a viewing and commentating standpoint. A lot of fun. Any final thoughts from either of you?
The seats suck.
Thanks for the restream. Crosskeys gonna Crosskeys, I guess.
Crosskeys is gonna Crosskeys.
But make sure to follow both of our runners. Excellent job tonight. And big shout outs, of course, to our tracker, Cyber Chow, for keeping us in line as best as possible, because that was a lot going on. And shout outs to my co-commentator Zeke. It was a lot of fun tonight.
Oh, I had a blast. And of course, shout outs to Radical Sniper for keeping me company up here. And shout outs to Speed Gaming for hosting this race for us. Couldn't do it without their network, could we?
Of course not. There will be, of course, more racing, more speed gaming. We still have another daily race as part of the normal series here of dailies. I can check what one that is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., the daily race is Open Boots. So
Speed Gaming live flags.
I was gonna say, this has been kind of the new thing for the daily series, has been the Fast Fridays. Some of these quicker modes. I believe we saw Blitz mode one week, and this week we're getting open boots. So yeah, these quicker modes on Friday always feel really nice.
Yeah, they do, especially when you followed up, have it following a mode as chaotic as this one.
Exactly. But yes, with that, I guess we will be closing up shop for tonight. Once again, thank you to everybody for hanging out. Thank you to the runners. Thank you for the rest of the crew on this one. And we hope to see you next time for some more Link to the Past Randomizer daily races.
Have a good night, everybody.